Thanks very much, Ashfaq, for foreshadowing this session so well. We indeed have a range of opportunities to share. We have an opportunity to share with you a range of emerging leadership opportunities, starting first with world-leading sustainable development law journals. And I would like to invite Dr. Eghosa Ekhator, Editor-in-Chief of the Journal of Sustainable Development Law and Policy, and Ms. Jessica Khoury, Managing Editor for the McGill Journal of Sustainable Development Law, to please share a few words.
Hello? Can you see me and can you hear me, please?
Yes, it's all okay.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to come back and talk at this wonderful event. And in my role as a Deputy Editor-in-Chief, as much as possible, we try to provide opportunities for different scholars, world-leading scholars, early career, mid-career scholars to submit to our journal. And we've actually done a lot of workshops and programs to support other journals in Nigeria and how they can also improve their peer review process in their journals. And also, we've also collaborated with different organizations and different scholars in different parts of the world to have some special issues. And we are currently doing a special issue on sustainable development and private international law with Professor Raf and other scholars in different parts of the world. And we were in South Africa a few days ago at a workshop on preparing international law and sustainable development. So I think the future for us as a journal is quite bright, and as much as possible, we are open for support, advice, and collaboration. And thank you very much for this opportunity.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. As Tejas said, my name is Jessica. I'm representing the McGill Journal of Sustainable Development Law, otherwise termed the MJSDL. We're a student-run, peer-reviewed journal, and our mandate is really to provide a forum for critical analysis on the intersecting themes of economics, society, human rights, and the environment. We were asked to present some of our most recent work, which would be volume 20. This is a pretty special milestone for the journal since it marks our 20th year since founding. The theme that runs throughout this volume is that environmental challenges cannot be addressed in isolation from their human dimensions. From colonial legacies and indigenous rights to social equity and economic policy, our authors really examine how law can both perpetuate and help redress structural injustices. In particular, issue 2 features reflections that were shared at our April 2024 symposium, which was held to mark our 20th anniversary. Since our founding, our journal has published over 176 articles that move beyond the world of environmental law alone to really interrogate the social, political, and legal structures that shape sustainable development law today. As you can see by the table of contents that's posted on these slides, some of our articles explore topics like cash transfers and food security post-COVID, Mexico's sustainable agricultural program through the lens of peasant rights, biodiversity governance, and the legal treatment of indigenous land offenders. We are extremely grateful to all of the authors, speakers, peer reviewers, and student editors who contributed to this work. And I'm also extremely glad to announce that by fall 2025, we will be completely open access to make our work more accessible to everybody. If ever anyone's interested in submitting some articles, you can check our website out. It's just mjsdl.com, and we would love to host you guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eghosa and Jessica. And now to introduce the Sustainable Development Governance and Law Association, we have Advocate Matheus Paes Garcia, who's the STILI manager with the Center for International Sustainable Development Law, and Ms. Thalsa-Thiziri Mekaouche, who's an associate fellow with the CISDL. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Tejas. Greetings, everyone from Brasilia. As Tejas said, my name is Matheus Garcia. I'm the program manager at the Sustainable Trade Investment Law Initiative at the CISDL. And at a time when the world faces a convergence of environmental, social, and economic challenges, there is a growing recognition that our legal, governance, and sustainability systems must be in sync so that we can properly tackle these challenges. And the Sustainable Development Governance and Law Association, or the CSDG, STILI emerges as a way to address this. It's modeled after the International Law Association, the ILA. I'm sure many of you are very familiar with that format, with many national branches in formation. And this STGLA is founded on the belief that advancing sustainable development through the lens of law and governance requires a global community of practice. And this is essentially the main aim. We're especially committed to nurturing the next generation of scholars and professionals. So in a way, the SDGLA is built as an inclusive platform, one where established voices and emerging ones can meet as equals in dialogue, debate, fostering innovation, solutions, and what have you. Our long-term governance vision is equally rooted in inclusivity and collaboration, which brings back to the point that Professor Damilola made a few minutes ago. And we're building essentially a federated structure in which each national branch has an equal voice. And again, we're fostering dialogue and collaboration between these national branches. We envision that each national branch will designate a representative to serve on the executive council, which is essentially the body that will give us or will guide us, on the collective efforts, but at the same time respecting the idiosyncrasies of each national branch. And to explore more about these branches and formations, I'd like to yield the floor now to Thalsa. Thank you.
Thank you, Matheus, and greetings to everyone. So to give you a concrete idea of the progress that has been made so far, as you can see from this map, we have interest from lawyers and law students all over the world. And here you can see, so these 40 countries have begun their process to form a national branch. So concretely, CISDL is providing them with a draft constitution that they can amend to create their own institution and adapt it really to their local context. And 20 branches have made tremendous progress in a matter of a few months, and they are in the process of registering with their own government and local authorities. So really you can see you have here an email. If you're interested, please share this great opportunity to connect with other lawyers, and CISDL will help you with that draft constitution, as well as with its really huge network of legal practitioners all over the world to connect you with the lawyers, with the students who are extremely committed and engaged in sustainable development law. So with that, please reach out and we'll be happy to help.
Thank you very much, both. As you know, this event especially celebrated the launch of the new Sustainable Development Law Principles, Practices, and Prospects textbook. To share a few words, especially about the online companion that will support this textbook, we have Advocate Spencer Williams from the Ontario Ministry of Attorney General, as well as an Associate Fellow with the CISDL, and Ms. Annabel Koven, who's the Sustainability Science and Policy Initiative Coordinator for the Global Youth Council on Science, Law, and Sustainability. Spencer and Annabel, over to you.
Thanks, Tejas. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you today at this fantastic event. As Tejas said, I've had the great privilege of supporting Professor Marie-Claire, Professor Damilola, Tejas, and the rest of the team in this new textbook. And we're all very excited that the book is now in print, but we don't want to stop there. So over the coming months, I'll be working with some of our other CISDL members to develop an online companion to the textbook. And I'll just briefly touch on some of its key points. This will be an innovative tool that will be a dynamic resource that lets its users go beyond the textbook itself, whether they're practitioners, professors, researchers, or students. It will facilitate further engagement, especially for those for whom this book has sparked an interest and are looking to get more involved in the sustainable development law field by connecting them with organizations like CISDL that are engaged in this space. The online companion will also enable the textbook to be more dynamic, allowing for ongoing updates like significant court and tribunal decisions, like the ones that we've been hearing about with interest today, without having to wait for a third edition at some point in the future. It'll also be a tool for the classroom where we will compile question banks for discussion and assessment. And finally, the online companion will contain a variety of additional resources, including key cases, helpful text for further reading, useful online sites, and more. And one of these resources will be a database of accessible summaries of global treaty frameworks. And I'll turn it over to my colleague Annabel to explain this piece. Thanks so much for your attention.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Spencer. I'm Annabel, and I've had the privilege of working directly with a group of incredible interns this summer. They're a small but brilliant group of 16 to 18-year-olds from across the UK that are all very passionate about sustainability, environmental justice, and the role of international law in driving change. And their main focus this summer has been researching global treaty frameworks and identifying examples of how they're being implemented both locally and globally, and creating materials to help others understand them as well. Some of these treaties the interns are working on include the IRENA statute, which established the International Renewable Energy Agency to promote renewable energy worldwide, as well as the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, one of the most significant global health treaties of the last 2 decades. As students, they're translating these treaties into accessible summaries, mapping them to SDGs, and asking tough questions about how they're actually being implemented and how young people can engage with them meaningfully. They're designing infographics, explainers, and social media content to share what they're learning with a wider audience. These summaries will be uploaded to the online companion once that is completed, as Spencer was discussing, and are example of the support the companion is providing. And beyond the companion, these interns are also contributing to the Global Youth Council's online journal, which is a space for youth to publish their reflections, ideas, and research about sustainability, law, and justice. It's been incredible to see how these students are not only learning about treaties, but actually helping to shape the tools and narratives that others will use to understand them. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you'll explore the companion as well as read the journey and read the journal and follow the journey as it continues to grow. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Spencer and Annabel. And finally, it's my pleasure to introduce 2 colleagues, Ms. Joanna Watterson, Program Coordinator for the Democratizing Education for Global Sustainability Justice Program, and Advocate Carter Cheng, Engagement Coordinator of the program, to share a few words. Jo and Carter, the floor is yours.
Thanks so much, Tejas. I'm just going to say a couple of words on what DemEd Global does to bridge this gap. And I saw in the chat that Michael from Eastern Uganda was asking, how can teaching sustainable development law in these turbulent times effectively address the complex interplay between economic, social, and environmental transformations while promoting justice? And I think that the work that DemEd Global does, and our mission particularly, addresses some of that question. So as many of you know, and I see that there are quite a lot of our learners online with us today, so thank you so much for joining us. Our program aims to democratize education on sustainable development law and policy to strengthen capacity by developing short online courses. We seek to widen participation by making these online courses available worldwide to current and future law and policy leaders, and convening and supporting global engagement and communities of practice, which my colleague Carter Cheng will talk about in just a moment. And finally, we respond to the principles of economic, environmental, and sustainable development law by developing new courses and updating current ones through the work we do with global partners, which Carter can tell you a bit more about.
Thank you, Jo. So in just a short span of time, our efforts have grown into a vibrant global movement with 211 course ambassadors from 96 countries. We're not building networks, we're building solidarity. And this year, our partnership with the government of Sierra Leone also enters its 2nd chapter. And then as we double the annual cohort from 150 to 300 participants. And meanwhile, we also proudly launched our 1st year partnership with the governments of Bangladesh, Liberia, and Pakistan, and each tailored to their national context and priorities. And through collaboration with Youth Negotiators Academy and Chevening Scholarships, we are reaching rising emerging leaders poised to shape the very future of sustainable development. And indeed, the potential for transformation resides in the people, especially in youth, and it's through education law partnership that we can unlock that potential. And last but not least, our 4 courses are now open for application until Sunday, and I will be sharing the details in the main chat shortly, and you are warmly invited to repost the LinkedIn and also the Insta post that I'll be posting. And to mark this moment and to offer a glimpse into the spirit of our work, its purpose, its reach, and also promises, it's my pleasure to share with you the latest DemEd video. So over to you, Tejas, for the video.
Democratizing education for global sustainability and justice.
Humanity is currently grappling with growing global challenges that demand urgent action. The impact of climate change, such as severe weather events and biodiversity loss, threaten ecosystems and disrupt livelihoods.
Extreme poverty persists, and it's getting worse. Literally billions of people in the world do not have the food, the water, the renewable energy they must have if they're going to lead decent and fulfilled lives.
Access to essential services such as education, healthcare, clean water, and economic opportunities is often uneven, leaving marginalized individuals particularly vulnerable to social and economic shocks.
Global sustainability challenges threaten humanity and all life on Earth. In 2015, the United Nations adopted a 2030 agenda, 17 Sustainable Development Goals which integrate human rights, environmental protection, economic progress, and good governance. With 169 time-bound targets, the SDGs provide a common public policy agenda for all countries and communities worldwide. While the SDGs themselves may be aspirational, each is supported by binding treaty obligations, backed by financing, science, transparency, and other measures. We just need knowledge and the capacity to comply.
Implementing these accords and advancing the Sustainable Development Goals requires deep international cooperation, scaled-up finance, and robust domestic laws and institutions.
Countries need law and governance specialists to implement the SDGs on the ground.
In highly climate vulnerable and low-income countries, hardly any law schools, public service schools, or judicial training networks offer relevant courses or training.
To transition to a more sustainable world economy, we must strengthen our laws and policies. Current and future policymakers need resources, skills, and knowledge to develop and implement innovative sustainable policies.
Legal professionals need higher capacity to be able to understand the intricacies of sustainable development and to be able to advocate for better enforcement of standards and frameworks.
This program aims to democratize education on sustainable development law and policy and to strengthen capacity by developing online courses.
By leveraging online learning, the reach is exponential, and the goal is to convene global communities of practice, strengthening commitment, cooperation, and lifelong learning towards a more sustainable future for us all.
Instructors like me from the University of Cambridge and all over the world are honored to share our perspectives on interconnected global sustainability and justice challenges.
Each course provides approximately 10 hours of learning time, with 6 modules of instruction from world-class experts. Learners are eligible for a certificate from Lucy Cavendish College and Hughes Hall in the University of Cambridge, together with global partners.
Our program provides a unique blend of theoretical insights, assignments, assessments, hands-on learning, and networking.
We hope our courses will expand learners' understanding of sustainable development and global governance and equip them with the practical skills and knowledge to address policy and legal framework.
The DemEd Global program has been life-changing for me. I've come away with a stronger sense of how to reform policy in my country, delivering on treaty promises in real-world situations, and I feel more confident about my contributions to global sustainability efforts.
We invite you to embark on an enriching journey with our program, where you'll gain the knowledge and tools to drive meaningful change. Together with courage and creativity, we can craft crucial law and policy reforms, mobilizing the means of implementation and compliance in all our countries and communities, advancing the global sustainable development goals, and shaping a more sustainable and just future for all.